Redler.
What up, JC? Can you see
What's up,
me?
dude? I don't see you. I hear you.
All right, hold on. There we go.
Oh, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Good. Salute, brother.
Salute.
Good seeing you.
Good to have you back in the States. I guess you're still drinking wine from all your expert tutelage being in the San Francisco wine country.
I don't drink domestic wine, to be honest with you. Not a lot of it anyway. I don't know if you could see it. This is a Rosso de Montepulciano.
Oh yeah. You know what? I was in Italy, and Selena, my wife's family, is from Rapino, where the Montepulciano is actually made. So I know that wine. It's a nice red.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The Italians don't mess around, man. You know, I've been on some Italian kick. You know, I was like deep in France for a long time, and I was really only drinking French wine. Like, I'm a French wine scholar. I passed the exam, so I was like hardcore. And now I'm like really into Italy and Spain, and you know, I try to mix it up. Some New Zealand, Argentina, Portugal the other day. I like the Hungarian dessert wine. So yeah, man, dude, I wish we were doing this at a steakhouse in Lower Manhattan.
Didn't I see that aren't you a sommelier?
I'm a certified sommelier, yep.
Cheers to that. That's not easy to do.
Thank you. No, man, it was hard.
Dude, that's a lot of studying. It's like there's a lot of different levels of it also, right?
Yup. So I did an intro, like the first exam, like the level one, if you will. You know, a buddy of mine who's a sommelier convinced me. He's like, "Oh, JC, you could probably pass without studying," and I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." And I actually did, and I didn't study, and I did pass. So I was like, "Oh, you know, like I'm the man." No. So then you start learning more, and I actually sat for the certified exam a year ago in Vancouver and bombed the hell out of it. Like, I turned the test over and I saw the first 7 questions. I'm like, there's zero chance I'm passing.
How many questions were there?
I don't know, maybe like 100, maybe like 100.
Was there like a practical too, where like you have to like be blindfolded and taste wines and know where they're from and know the name of it? I heard that too. Or is that higher level?
No, that's the certified. Yep. So they give you 2 whites, 2 reds, and that's it. And then you just got to go.
Like, are you allowed to say if it's a Chardonnay or a Sauvignon Blanc or a Riesling, or do you have to like know the exact wine, the exact year?
Yep. Yeah. You gotta say the year, right? So the vintage, the region, the country, old world, new world. You got to describe the acid, the alcohol, the viscosity, the color, the smell. Like, it's like this whole thing, but it's really cool. You would actually really appreciate it, because what I learned very quickly is that sommeliers they're technical analysts. I swear to God, dude, they use we use what's called a deductive method. So we are in the same way that you and I are looking for trends, right? So if a stock is making a new 52-week high or a new all-time high, probably not a downtrend, right? We could probably rule that one out, right? In the same thing with wine, if it's red, then it's not a Chardonnay, it's not a Sauvignon Blanc, right? You can Pinot Grigio, eliminate all those. And then when you look at the color, depending on what the color is, you can also eliminate a series of wine. You look at the viscosity, the flavor, you're eliminating to the point where it's got to be either this or this, and I'm going to go with this. In the case of the stock market, it's very similar. Like, do you want to buy energy or do you want to buy tech? Not energy's out, you know, Chardonnay's out, you know, is this probably a Chablis? This is probably tech. You know, it's really fascinating, dude.
Yeah, like I could actually look at the color of a white wine and I know if it's a Sauvignon Blanc or a Chardonnay by seeing how light it is. Same way, kind of like, I guess you can know between the difference between like a light Pinot and a Cab. I could see when it's like a Pinot and I could see when it's a Cab, you know. So I'm a little bit of an alcoholic. I know a little bit of all that, but I can see how you could start to rule shit out, and then the taste rules out the other part of it.
Not to mention, Scott, you know, the more you learn about wine, the more you realize you don't know shit, right? It's very similar to the market in that way. Like, anybody who thinks they know anything, like, they haven't been doing this long enough, right? Like, the more you kind of like open up Pandora's box, the more you're like, Wow. And every time I talk to somebody smart, I'm sure you have the same experience. You're always learning something new. You're like, oh shit, I hadn't really thought about that like that, right?
Either that or you got to dummy down the smart people who think they know what's happening when you're like, you have fucking no idea. You know, even today, why is the banks down and Amazon's at a high? Like guys on my VTF, I'm like, shut the fuck up. You can't short Amazon because Bank of America is down 30 cents. You know, or why is it, why are rates doing that and this is doing that? There's so many like broken economic correlations that it's just like, okay, this is working, so stick with what's working until it doesn't work and feels different. When it feels different and doesn't work, we won't do it. Like people like so many people texted me in the last 2 days about Tesla. This is crazy. I'm like, what's so fucking crazy? It sat between 940 and 1,000 for 3 weeks. Didn't come in. It stayed there. Then it triggered above 1019 and 1027. It showed leadership on Monday. It went above and held above, so shorts had a cover, and it extended. What's so fucking crazy?
I mean, it's pretty standard.
So it's just like, I'm like, don't fucking tell me what's crazy. Like, just don't email me or text me. I don't need to know what you're thinking. But anyway, not that my thinking is always better than everyone else's, but I don't need any. I come in here literally.
Where are you?
This is the Short Hills office. So,
pretty sweet.
Yeah, it basically saved my fucking life, to be honest, because New York office closed in February. This is actually really cool. Where the fact that when I moved to Short Hills, New Jersey, this was being built. Had nothing to do with me. There was we have 7 to 10 T3 Live, franchises, so to speak, where people want our economies of scale, so they build an office. So there's this furrier in town that wanted to build this office for his son because his son was working for Schoenfeld, and all of a sudden he thought he could open up his own trading firm. So when I was moving in, they were building this, and I came in, and Lazarus at the time was like, "Oh, we're building a T3 in Short Hills. You're moving there, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That." First of all, I'm like, "That kind of sucks because you go to dinner, this and that. I see enough people that I know that I have to do small talk with." But anyway, they built it. They had 10 traders in here. It was a beauty. They put $500,000 into this office. We had nothing to do with it except for here's your rate. Here's our platform, blah, blah, blah. And then within 4 years, they all blew up. So then all of a sudden we said, okay, we'll rent this space back from you for $3,000, fully plug and play. And it became my office. So when shit hit the fan, I was able to come in here and, have, instead of being in my house, I'm here, and I've been here by myself since February. I even got an Alexa. So a little Alexa to play some music. Alexa, say hi to JC.
Jennifer Chan from Apple Music.
No, not Jennifer Chan. Anyway.
Have you noticed that Alexa's always talking when she's, randomly? She just starts talking like you're in a call, and she thinks you're talking to her, and then all of a sudden.
Well, you got to talk to her. Let me get it back on. Alexa, play Bruce Springsteen radio. You know what the funny thing is? You know how on the weekend, I'm always like, feed the brain. That's kind of like my mantra, clear things out, get your balance. So I got an email from Alexa saying, Alexa wants to help you feed the brain. I'm like she must have been really listening. I'm like, how the hell did she come up with that?
Hold on, let's talk about that because you've always been you're like Mr. triathlon selfie guy. You love right? You're all about, and I appreciate that because not only are you doing it for yourself, but you're listen guys, trading is stressful. The market is stressful. Go run forever, until you can't run anymore. And, tell me, and people will love listening to that. How does that help you? Talk about that.
Well, I try and be a cross between a Tony Robbins and a Jim Cramer, So I'm just saying, I try and be in the middle where it's lifestyle and trading, because a lot of people would love to trade and be in the business for 20 plus years. And it's hard to be in the business for 20 plus years if you don't have balance and lifestyle, because you're going to blow up, you're going to become a shell of yourself, and it's hard to take. So I always try and preach the balance side of trading, because if you're not balanced and you don't feed the brain, you're not going to execute on the X's and O's during the week. And I feel like that's differentiated me from a lot of other, Twitter people or subscription-based models where I make it more of an interactive personal approach where I have nothing to hide, and and I'm pretty consistent and good where I don't have anything to hide. If I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong and I move on. If I'm wrong, I don't get louder. The guys that are wrong and get louder, they're the ones who blow people up. If I'm wrong, okay, that happens. I'll be right 8 out of 10 times, hopefully wrong 2 out of 10 times. And if I'm wrong, I'm not going to be so wrong.
Let's talk about the confidence. The fact that you can turn your phone off right now, go outside and run 10 miles. Easy, right?
Yeah.
What advantage do you think you have in trading or business in general, knowing that you could do that at any point, probably run even more than 10 miles, versus just like a complete slob that looks like shit, sweating in the subway, right? Like we've seen them. We see them every time, that can't be, their mind can't be in a good place when they're executing, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's called like your internal strength. I get my internal strength by, knowing that I did an Ironman and I was sitting on the floor after 2.4 miles from a 112-mile bike ride, and I'm friggin' on the floor at mile 10, crunched up on a little ball because I dehydrated, and I had the strength to say, okay, now I'm going from race performance to race management. Drink a little water, get a little salt, change the plan, figure it out, and then get it done. So every trade you have a little bit of a battle on what's right, what's wrong. How do you get out of it, or how do you enhance it, or how do you stick with it, or how do you take the trade? So for me, I play these mind games in fitness. Can I go a little bit faster? Did I say I was going to do this, and then do I stop early because I'm tired? So it's like everyone gets their inner strength from something, and I guess my identity is that I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for charity. I've done 30 plus races, 2+ Ironman, all because I trained for it and I had the discipline to achieve whatever that was without giving up. And that's how I kind of go with the mantra of this also. It's like every day I'm like process, plan, routine every single day so you're ready for the day. If you don't have a process, a plan, and a routine, you're not going to know what's going where and how things are moving and how you should execute fast if things change. And you need to be able to know that and execute with confidence too. Same way with the friggin' heart surgeon. Heart surgeon, first heart surgery is pretty damn tough. You do 100 of them and it's like, incision here, item there, knock down this wall, knock down that wall.
Piece of cake. Yeah.
So, but I think that the fitness part, just creates like an intrinsic internal strength, and especially when it helps people feel good. It's just the way of life.
Now let me ask you this: you bring up the surgeon, which is you're not going to read a science book and think you're going to be a great surgeon. Not to mention, no one's ever going to let you perform surgery legally, right?
Yeah.
In the market, however, you read one book, or in most cases, not even a book, maybe an article, or see something on TV, and now all of a sudden, you think you're going to be one of the greatest, right? Or that you have even a chance of being successful. Forget the greatest, just successful, And not only do they stop, nobody's going to stop you from trading. Oh, no. It's the opposite. They're going to encourage you. Oh, yeah, financial freedom, the whole thing, right? The shtick.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about it should be treated like surgery. It should be treated like a pilot. You're not going to go fly a plane because you read an article about, an airplane, right?
Well, it's a difference when you take your road test. You have the book portion and you have the practical portion. To be a doctor, you have to go through certain barriers, but really surgery time is what makes you comfortable. Same way with seat time as a trader, by looking at books and reading technical analysis. Like the other day, I had like a new subscriber who told me how she read like 4 different books. She's like, I'm learning MACDs, I'm learning RSI, I'm learning this method, I'm learning that method. I'm like, stop looking for the friggin' holy grail. It's price, action, relative strength, and it's a style. I'm like, the more you sit, the more you see the speed, the more you get comfortable, the more, you just get acclimated. Again, I've been doing this for 22 years and, it takes time. I'm still evolving. I still make mistakes. But you have to be okay with for the last 3 weeks, I've had Tesla call spreads on besides trading it. this was the first week I didn't put a Tesla call spread on. So the last 2 weeks that Tesla was hanging there, I was buying the 1030s, 1100 call spreads. The cost was like $7 to make 63. So you buy 10 calls for $7,000, you make 63. If you buy 20, 14, whatever it is you do. So even like, so, you know, this was the first week I didn't do it because, you know, it kind of felt like coming in last week, the market was a little wishy-washy, but, you know, Tesla seemed like it was going to break. Facebook broke. So I was like, all right, I'm not thinking there's going to be all-time high trades coming up. So I didn't put the call spread on, but then at least I bought the stock on Monday, added on the breakout. I made 100 points, but I didn't have as many as I would have had if I had, you know, sitting in a call spread that you wait to get maximized. So the last day or two, you know, today I was like a little depressed, and guys, why are you depressed? I'm like, I didn't have a call spread on. Why didn't I have a call spread on? A bunch of them did. Like, I don't know why you didn't have one. We had it on. We paid to listen to you. I'm like, you know what? I was caught up in all the things. So it's just a mistake. But, you know, you learn from your mistakes, and next time, you know, just because you did it for 2 weeks prior doesn't mean it's not going to happen the week after. The stock doesn't remember when you did it. It does whatever it's going to do when it's ready to do it. And I've learned a lot of that in the last, you know, bunch of years, where it's like some people say, oh, I traded that last week. Screw that stock. It knows my number. You know, it has no idea what you did last week. It just was still consolidating, wasn't ready to go. And then it finally goes, oh, I was in that all last week. Why didn't it go this week? You know,
you mean buyers and sellers collectively around the world are not concerned with the red dog reversal strategy? Can you imagine? They're not taking it into the consideration?
Well, that was also, you know, so last week that happened. Last week, if you remember, I actually have the chart up here. What day was it? It was June 25th. The market did like a red dog reversal last week.
Talk about what it is. What's a red dog reversal?
The red dog reversal is what I call it's a battle between the buyers and sellers at a pivot point. It's who's going to win the rubber match on an active basis. So if you have one down day, in order to get to another down day, what does it have to do? It has to go below the day one down. So day one down, all of a sudden day two down. Now you're down 2 days in a row. Okay, in order to go down 3 days, it's got to get below the low of the second day down, because now you're down 3 days. So that low of the third day, kind of like what happened with Facebook on Monday, that is the battle between the bulls and the bears. Is there going to be a fourth down day, or is it going to go below it and then reclaim the bottom of that third day where shorts get trapped and people who didn't get caught, you know, before the 3 day down move or the 2 day down move, you know, they buy strategically because the market just did discovery. So it's a great actionable day trade. And sometimes it leads to an inflection point that could last for multiple days. So it serves two different purposes. It gives you a calculated way to enter, you know, because you could buy it when it reclaims the low, reversal low, like Facebook reclaimed. Like I can even punch up Facebook real quickly on Monday because everyone probably has it fresh in their mind. You know, Facebook went below 215 on Monday, went as low as like 207. You could have bought it, reversal low. When it reclaimed 215, no longer was Facebook going below 200 or 190. Why? Because it didn't stay below 215, and then all of a sudden you had a nice bounce move to 220 plus after a move down of 25 points, and then look where it is now. No one would have thought it would have bounced back to 238, 239 the way it did, but you didn't have to know if you know how to play the certain direction.
You want to know what I like? You know what I like, Redler? In a lot of books on technical analysis, and I'm sure you've read all the same ones I have and probably others, they tend to talk about whipsaws, like almost like a negative. Like, you know, so we want to buy the breakout, but be careful for the whipsaw. You know, we want to short the breakdown, but be careful. It almost looks like a negative. And even like Sequoia did the whipsaw song, you know, have you heard the whipsaw song on YouTube, right? Like,
let me hear you sing a little bit.
I was actually...
Don't turn it off.
No. We're not gonna because it gets stuck in your head and it's real, like it stays in your head. We're not gonna do that to the
the whipsaw is like the red dog reversal. It's a way for algos to steal your lunch if you're looking for that last play lower before a reversal.
But what I love, but you're bringing up a prescriptive model instead of the descriptive model and then the avoidance of that. You are saying, look for them. I say the exact same thing. I love whipsaws for a couple of reasons. Number one, the risk is, you know, couldn't be better defined, right?
Right.
You have a level. How you define whipsaw, like you have your 3 days or whatever it is, but at the end of the day,
it could be one day, big day.
Yeah. You set that level, all bets are off below that. But if and when you're right, which does happen, right? It does happen. You get it right sometimes. It goes further than you think. Like that's like you said, it happens sometimes. I would say that's if you're right, you're probably going to really be right, right?
Right. Well, that's why usually, you hold a third for follow through because it could be a new trend start. Every time that everyone kind of said the bears were going to retest the lows since March 23rd, this and that, the market was saved with the red dog reversal. Every time we went below a level, the bears didn't have enough power to keep it below, it got reclaimed, and that started a whole new active sequence. But knowing what it means, like even today, there were, or even Tesla on Tuesday, you have to know what that means. Sometimes you push above and fail, which is distribution, right? Like you had the downtrend with Tesla where it was like 1019, 1029. A few times it would push up and fail, and people get trapped trying to buy a breakout and it goes lower. But when you push above and stay above, and the buyers have the power, then it doesn't work. That's called follow through, which you know as well. I'm sure you do it all the time. Same way like today, I don't know if you looked at NOW, which was now. Okay, like it was playing with that 410 mark because people didn't want to get a red dog reversal to the upside where it goes above 410 and fails. But then, once it said I can get above 410 and stay above, it went to 417 and they had a big breakout in TWLO and NOW. So it could be as simple as get above and stay above, if you simplify it, for the bulls. Get below and stay below for the bears. Okay. Red dog reversal is get above and come back below. And red dog reversal the other way is get below and come back above. Those 4 terms can make you a lot more money than watching fucking 90%, excuse my French, 90% of the news channels out there and having the opinions of all the billionaires who said that the S&P wasn't supposed to get above 2850 and we hit 3,200 a month ago, and who knows what happens tomorrow with the jobs number.
Yeah, but you know what? You know why those 4 things matter so much? Because they're all about risk management. It's more about keeping the money that you got rather than going out chasing it. And that's why I think it's so important. So let's change the topic before I let you run, Mr. Redler. What are you running a mile in these days? Be honest.
My best marathon, where I qualified for Boston, I did it in 3 hours and 13 minutes. Okay. So that was a 720 mile.
What about 1 mile?
What? 1 mile? I could probably
you go out right now and run it as fast as you can. What do you think you get?
Is someone chasing me?
If it's me, you're not gonna have to hurry.
I would say I could do a 7-minute mile. My son's below a 6-minute mile.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm trying to work on my mile. In college, I played baseball at Fairfield in Connecticut. And after the Christmas holiday, which you get basically like a month and a half off of school,
right?
Baseball season starts pretty much right after you get back. So in order to make sure we were working out during that period, our coach would make the entire team on the first day of practice the second semester, make the entire team, catchers and pitchers included, run a mile.
Right.
And we had to do it in under 6 minutes. And if we didn't do it in under 6 minutes, we had to get up every morning at 6 a.m. and run a mile every day until we did it in under 6 minutes.
Did you? Were you able to say? And you did it?
Most of us we had to. We didn't have to.
Yeah. That's interesting because I know in varsity soccer they have to run 2 miles in 12 minutes. So
Jesus, are you serious?
Well, there's a lot more running in soccer, more endurance. Baseball, you got to chew stuff and you hang out and you just swing a bat. So I can see how you only have to do 1 mile. Soccer is 2 miles, but 6 minutes is the barometer. That's impressive. And what do you think you can do now?
I could probably do it in probably 7 and change. I could probably do it right now.
It's impressive.
I could probably do 7 and change. Yeah. So I'm working on it though. I'm working on it. I have all this time on my hands. So.
Yeah, listen, working on it now in this time that's what I've been preaching also. You got to be fit, keep the mind because you're home. You have your kids are upset because life changed. Your wife's upset because life changed. being fit and exercising is how you keep you balanced so you could do your day-to-day. And thank goodness our day-to-day can't get taken away from us. You know, if you learn how to trade, nobody can fire you. The only person who can fire you is a person staring at you in the mirror.
That's
so
exactly right.
One of those jobs where, you know, you do have financial freedom if you work on it. No one gives it to you. You know, granted, we just started the third quarter, right? Everyone's back at zero. You just booked your second quarter, your first quarter, first half of the year. Now we all have to put it all together again. And there's a certain type of breed that can do that. And that's someone who has a process, a plan, who has confidence in their execution because they've seen success and they've seen failure and they know how to deal with it all.
Dude, I love it. Red Dog, let's do this more often.
Yes. Cheers to you.
Brother.
All right.